let's start with you. Your closing comments?
Well, it's pretty simple. We've heard a lot here today, and the question is, who is better to represent our ideals and our priorities in Washington, D.C.? Somebody who voted with Obama approximately 90% of the time, somebody who is F-rated by the NRA, somebody, we didn't touch on it a whole lot, but somebody who actually voted for an energy tax, a carbon tax, that would strangle the economy of our part of Minnesota. The number one cost of production, or the number and expense in mining, is energy. That carbon tax, that energy tax, would strangle our Iron Range. And the same for timber and the paper industry. A large part of their expenses is energy. That carbon tax, that energy tax, would strangle our paper and timber industries. The Port of Duluth ships about 40% of the tonnage that goes through the Port of Duluth is coal, carbon, energy. That would strangle our part of Minnesota, causing us to pay more at the pump and causing us to pay more in our home energy bills. Somebody who supports the Waters of the U.S. rule, which would cause the EPA to be able to come in and regulate drain tile, ditches, and ponds on our families' farms, or somebody who thinks that Obamacare is a great first step to government-run single-payer health care. So hopefully you've listened carefully. You've listened with open ears, open arms, and open hearts. And I look forward to your vote and representing you in Washington, D.C., because I truly believe, based on what we talked about here, is that I best represent the values and the priorities of this district, and I look forward to going to Washington, D.C. to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sandman, your final thoughts?
I'm a common person, and I use common sense. If I'm elected, I can walk between both parties. I'm not stuck in the party mode, rather it be Republican or Democrat. I care about you and doing the right things, lowering taxes, student debt, jobs, environment. And number one is environment with me. There's a lot of talk out there that the corporations and the powers that be don't care about the environment or the people. They are fed by greed. They don't care about you. The parties, I believe, don't care about you. It's about control and power. I care about you. I care about your grandchildren and their right to life. When I'm elected, I will make my voice heard. And I'll do the best that I can for you. For you're the ones that put me in power. You're the ones that put me in the office. And your voice will not go unheard. So vote for me, November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Congressman Nolan.
Well, again, I want to thank everybody for this opportunity. Thank my opponents here in this race for a spirited debate. It should be pretty clear by this point what the choice is and who you're for. One other little element I'd just like to add to it is, and that is the question of, you know, who can get things done in Washington as well. Independent groups rated yours truly in the upper 10% of people who were able to introduce legislation and effectively get it passed into law. Believe me, as a freshman in a Tea Party Republican-dominated House of Representatives, that is no easy task. Time magazine cited my leadership for keeping us out of the war in the Middle East. I sponsored an amendment on the floor of the House to knock $89 billion out of the Afghan Reconstruction Fund. Why? Because we need that money back home for deficit reduction and rebuilding America. That's enough money to finance the state of Minnesota for several years and still fund our schools, our roads, our bridges. I helped write the Farm Bill, I helped write the Water Resources Bill, I sponsored a bill to make it streamline the regulations for manufacturers like Cirrus, creating all kinds of good jobs. I passed legislation to prohibit the presidents, Republican and Democrats, from raiding our harbor trust fund. I passed legislation helping protect the Great Lakes and our Mississippi watershed from the various invasive species that destroy our native fish and aquatic life. I secured 3,000 acres for the Fond du Lac Band of the Chippewa Nation that had been stolen by settlers following the Treaty of 1854. My staff and I have worked with government, private agencies, private non-public to secure well over $300 million in grants for roads, for bridges, for airports, for our harbors, for our schools. The point is, there is a longer list. Mining executives as well as mine workers support my candidacy. Energy executives as well as energy employees support my candidacy. You know where I stand on all these issues. You know who I'm for. I think people just have to ask who they're for, and the decision on who to vote for should be easy.
Well, thank you. And we'll leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you all for your participation. This morning, we appreciate this opportunity to have a discussion on the issues. Chuck, thank you, and partner at the Duluth News Tribune. Thanks to the Civility Project folks. And, of course, thanks to the Playhouse for the use of their facilities. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day.